We are all very familiar with the rush of adrenaline we feel when a new idea pops into our minds. It could be a creative side quest for the weekend, a new hobby you want to pick up for the summer, or maybe just a new habit you promise yourself at the start of the year. The beginning for all three are similar. You start with passion, stay consistent for the first few days or even a week, and then you just abandon the idea. It no longer excites you, and suddenly you are too busy for it. On the surface, this may look like an everyday case of laziness and procrastination, but psychology says there is a much more interesting explanation to why some people quit everything they start. Stick around till the end of the video to find out why. The human brain, while a miraculous creation, is designed to function in a way that seeks comfort. The psychologist Robert Zajonc came up with an explanation for this behavior in the 1960s and called it the mere exposure effect. According to his theory, the human mind develops a tendency towards certain things simply because they are familiar to it. Your brain is more likely to prefer something it has been previously exposed to, and the longer your brain stays exposed to it, the higher are your chances of it choosing the same again. But how does this connect to you quitting after starting? You have also trained your brain to function in a comfort-seeking manner. Thus, when you pick up something fresh, even if it's something harmless like crocheting or knitting, your brain treats the discomfort as danger and signals itself to stop. This also explains why you lose focus just an hour or two after attempting something new. This discomfort your brain interprets does not necessarily tell you are bad at something. It could be confusing frustration, boredom, or just slow progress as failure, which is why it constantly fires instructions to give up and move on to something familiar. The psychologists also gave this feeling a name. It's called the misattribution of effort, and it creates a loop in your mind. Your brain feels discomfort and translates it into doubt. That doubt then leads to disengagement from the task. Once you disengage, you quit, and your brain gets a temporary sense of safety and comfort again. However, if we look at things from a slightly different angle, it's not that you always give up something just because it's uncomfortable or hard. Sometimes, we give up because something else becomes more appealing to us. Maybe you picked up reading fiction as a hobby, but after a few days, filming started looking more interesting to you. So you pick up the camera and record the first few clips, but then you come across an Instagram reel of someone peacefully crocheting, and now it is all you can think of. So why? Why does the human brain keep jumping from one activity to another, even though we have been told it likes certainty and routine? The answer is that your brain craves dopamine rushes, and when it switches from one thing to another, it chases the excitement of starting something new. And as soon as that excitement fades off, it goes back to looking for an escape route. And those escape routes have a clever but very short-lived way of keeping your creative juices flowing. So, how do you stop quitting? Just like other things in life, correcting your tendency to quit things is not a one-day job. It might even take months for you to train your brain to come out of that learned helplessness phase and stick to something longer than just a few hours. Arguably, the biggest mistake people make when trying to pick up new habits or hobbies is a lack of purpose. You need to know why you are pursuing a particular activity and what you aim to achieve from it. Maybe you want to pick up painting because you want to make a part-time income out of it. Maybe you want to pick up sewing so you can create your own outfit for a specific event. Sit with your ideas and decide on your end goal. The more specific you can be, the easier it will be for your brain to follow through. Now, don't mistake this into thinking you cannot start something unless you have a very definite goal for it. All you need is less vagueness and specificity. So maybe next time, instead of saying you want to start creating content or start a YouTube channel, tell yourself you want to make X amount of videos on doing Y so you can achieve the Z. And this Z can be something as simple as completing a single sketchbook page or editing one full reel from start to finish. One of the biggest reasons people quit is not because they lack discipline, but because they start with expectations that are far too heavy for a beginner's brain. When you decide to commit 2 full hours, finish an entire project, or master a skill in a few days, your brain immediately registers the task as exhausting before you even begin. That early pressure creates resistance, and resistance slowly turns into avoidance. Instead, give yourself a starting point that feels almost too easy. Decide to edit only 10 minutes of a clip, write just 1 paragraph, or practice for 15 minutes and stop. When the task feels manageable, your brain does not panic. It feels safe starting, and once you start, it is much easier to continue than to quit. Most of us live in environments that make quitting effortless. Your phone is within reach, notifications interrupt you, and other activities are always waiting to steal your attention. When discomfort shows up, your brain immediately takes the easiest exit available. To counter this, you need to add small obstacles to quitting. Put your phone in another room, turn off notifications, or decide beforehand that you will finish a certain part before stopping. When quitting requires effort, your brain delays the decision, and that delay often gives you enough time to push through the discomfort. Many people assume they should feel excited the whole time they are doing something new, but excitement is temporary and unreliable. The moment it goes away, they take it as a sign that they should stop. Instead of tracking how motivated you feel, track what you finish. Did you edit the 10-minute clip? Did you complete the task you planned for today? Replace the dopamine rush of starting something with the rush of being able to complete a task. Of course, this won't be possible in a day or two. You will have to overexert yourself to stay committed to the task in hand. But at the end of the day, each completed action teaches your brain that discomfort does not equal failure. Over time, this changes your relationship with effort, and quitting slowly stops being your default response. And there you have it, folks. A clear-cut rundown of why your brain resorts to giving up, and how you can stop it from happening the next time. However, remember that your brain is an unoiled machine, and it will take a while to get back into the flow of running smoothly again. The key is not to give up when it gets a little rusty. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more such content, then do consider subscribing to the channel, because the human mind is an amazing creation, and we are always digging into it more